All right, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Willy Barreno, and I'm here in Guatemala, in a town called Quetzaltenango, which is in the highlands of Guatemala. And today I'm very happy and excited to present a little bit of my history and the history of my people through astronomy. I'm a day keeper, which means I keep the count of the days of what you guys know as the Mayan calendar. And basically the Mayan calendar and the counting of the days, it's important for us in order to keep track of the sun, the moon, and the stars. And that's something that I'll be talking in just these few minutes with you and presenting what I call this presentation Mayan astronomy from the past until the present. So I'm going to share my screen a little bit here, and I hope these images can make it a little bit clear about who we are and what we represent. We are part of a group called Popolna, which means the House of the Council, and basically we learn about the past, about the histories of the elders, but also we provoke the future. And we have a community here in Guatemala called Quicotemal, which means happiness. So this is the community of happiness, and we understand by happiness, it means we have to see the past in order to see the future. So monkeys are very important for us because they are part of our mythology that represents happiness, but then within these monkeys, you see a corn stalk, a corn plant that it's growing out of water, and that makes us, very ancient people. So here's the Maya area, and as you can see, you probably see the numbers there. Mayans have been around for the last 5,000 years here, and that's why we have a long count calendar. Which this year would be the year 5,209. And that means that corn and beans and squash have been around for that long time. Here you see two ancient cities. One is called Caminaljuyu, which is today in Guatemala City. And then the other one is Tacalicabaj, which is a very ancient city where I'm very close to it. And then in a little bit, I'll show you the basics of what the Mayan astronomy is. My ancestors would look the map like this, not like I showed it before. This is north, south, east, and west. But my ancestors would locate it as the east, as the most important point of the day, because that's where the sun comes from. And here, where this small dot, Quetzaltenango, this is where I'm located right now. And so my ancestors would migrated here, long time ago, and then they would start keeping track of the days and seeing the sky. So for us, time is cycle, and then we see that the past is in the roots, and then the future, it's in the branches which will create fruits. Here you see an elder, in one ancient pottery, teaching the youngsters, how to count with their fingers. And these are the basic of Mayan numbers. Numbers are very important for us because it will keep track of the movements of the sun. I apologize here, I made a mistake here. There you go. So this is the Mayans of today. We are creating, recovering, ancient books and make them into new designs. And here you see an ancient astronomer, with eyes seeing the skies. This is a glyph of eclipses, and this is the Milky Way that we call it the white alligator. We didn't see a Milky Way, we see a white alligator, and then here you see a turtle, and then under the turtle you see three stones. This represents one of the stars of the Orion's belt, and I will show you in a little bit how we by seeing the stars, we create stories, and those stories represented something very important. This is the Tacalicabaj Ancient Astronomy Observatory, and then this was around like 400 years before Christ. And then as you see here, the volcanoes, they would see the solstice and the equinoxes here, and we will start counting the days by using our fingers. You know, fingers and toes are 20, and that's the basic, you know, mathematical equation that is the base of the Mayan calendar. Here, you see an ancient city called Tikal, where, you know, ancestors already look for the sky. Sorry, my cat is bugging. Apologize. So here's Orion as we see it today in the Mayan site. And then we see that these nebulas in the mythology says that this is where we came from long time ago. And here, this is a plate found in the Petén, you know, rainforest area, where you see a total being broken in two pieces. And then here's this deity called Ishim, which means corn. And then he's being fed by his two children, twin brothers, that one represents the sun and one represents the moon. We call them Hungahau and Yashbalam. In the Quiche, my other language, we call it Hungahu and Ishbalanke. We have a sacred bull called Popolbuch, where it's a mythology of all these stars. And here you can see the three, you know, Orion's belt here. And then this is the head of this deity that is called the corn. And then you see these three stars here. And then this will be the nebulas where we say that we came from. And the other codex, yeah, you know, like the Dresde codex, we also have this total, you know, representing this constellation here. And also fire, it's very important for us. So, you know, the nebulas, it was the representation of the fire we put, and we put the three stones to put the comali of the plate in order to make the tortillas or the corn that it's very sacred for us. The next one here, this is something that we have redone here that represents colors and numbers. And one dot represents one dash is 5, 2 dashes and 3 dots is 13. And then we have 13 major joints in our body, and, you know, 10 toes and 10 fingers. And if we multiply that, we get a round of 260 days. 260 days, and it's an average time of a human being of the process from, you know, conception to being born. And 260 is the base of the Mayan calendar. If you multiply 263 times, you get 780, and that's the cycle of Mars. So so we have these crazy numbers that this has been around for the last 5,000 years. Here, it's important for us to look up to the skies, and all these pictures you see here are taken by us, by our community. And then a peasant, it's important, you know, to see the sky, to see the stars, the sun, the moon, and even the clouds, because basically for us, that's the weather channel. And then that we would forecast if it's gonna rain or if it's gonna be drought by seeing the sky. So today is very important. And then in the ancient, our ancestors say that the sky was broken into four corners. And these four corners are called the grandparents, you know, 2 grandfathers and 2 grandmothers. And then with time, and we think that the time goes counterclockwise, because that's how the earth moves around the sun. So my ancestors were very, very curious about seeing the skies. And today, you know, this is what we are teaching the new generations with storytellings, but also with telescopes, thinking that often you say Mayans were great astronomers, and we are changing that concept and saying, no, today Mayans who live in this land are great astronomers, because until today we still keep track of the movements of the sun, the moon, and the stars, as I mentioned. This is my room here where I live. And then our house itself, it's an observatory to keeping track of events like this full moon was taking just a few days ago, right on, on the door where I sleep, get up in the morning and see the moon gets down, in the west. Here's my wife. She's also a daykeeper and astronomer, and we are in the jungles of Guatemala, also checking, for the rise of the moon. We also keep track with our fingers, and especially for women, always keeping track of the moon because it's related to female energy. Here's in the patio, a friend of ours with the hip hitting a ball, because we were the inventors of the ball games 5,000 years ago. And then curiously, all the ball courts are directed north to south because it was the representation for solstice, because the sun moves from south to north. And all the major, ball courts in the Mayan world are located north to south because they were also located, specifically to represent the movements of the sun. And women, again, are represented by jaguars in dance. This is a pyramid we have made in the last few years, and it is a replica of a calendar that it's located in Yucatan, Mexico. And then this represents also the equinoxes. And as you can see here, there is on the shadow, you see a snake coming down. This event happens every March 21st and September 22nd in the Yucatan area, saying that this is the equinox. So 40 days after the equinox in this land, it's when it starts raining, and we call it zenith, in astronomy, but then we have different ways of saying it. Also, after 40 days from September 22nd, we get November 1st, which is also the day of the death in many cultures, but for us is the last day of rain, and that would be the time for harvesting our corn. Magically, corn also grows in the highlands for 9 months, and it's like the 20 times 13 is 260 days, that it's very similar to it. Here we have a daykeeper, an elder, still counting the days. As you can see, it's a very complicated, how they call chart, but also, science also use this kind of charts to see different elements. We keep track of the sun by counting 20 days 13 times. This is one of my elders. He always teaching me about counting the days in the astronomy. Let's see. Yeah. Here, books are very important. We're recovering, codex that are today in Europe, and then along with researchers, we are checking the history of cocoa and all the ancient books about corn. And here I have a copy. We have a copy of this codex that is basically a chart for different events like solstice, equinoxes. We can even have charts for Venus and also movements of the Milky Way. Like again, seeing the sunrise every morning in the east is so important for us because that's when we begin the counting of the days. And again, this is a calendar pyramid that we have made in our community. And we provoke, the next generations of Mayans also to be part of this astronomy, recovery. So many years ago, my ancestors start counting the days, and it was in 1920 where we organized among different colleges and different astronomers in Mayans, something that we call the first Mesoamerican, Congress of Cultural Astronomy. And yeah, today, again, we're back. We say we are the people of the sun. And today we are really happy, that you are giving me this few minutes to share, that Mayans from 5,000 years ago are still here today. A lot of them are living in California, kids of immigrants. And also we want to send a message to all the kids of Mesoamericans who are living in different parts outside of the world, to recognize this culture as science. We still use mathematical equations. We still remember the ancestors, but also we're using, platforms like Zoom and Google Earth Stellarium, and we are using telescopes in order to recover our culture. I want to probably reframe what I'm saying is that we say that we are not recovering culture. Culture is recovering us. And today we are very happy and very, very excited that this little few minutes with you, we're sharing it with you. And I hope it was clear, what my word said.